Hi and welcome, friends. This is the Etobicoke Lakeshore podcast brought to you by, of course, the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. And our publisher is right there, Roger Tumanieri.
Hello, Mike.
I am Mike, as he says. And thanks for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome to the neighborhood.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I don't know if Mr. Rogers still lives in this neighborhood, but he did very well at the Oscars this week. I noticed that. He had a lot of presents. Thank you very much for joining us. As we do every week, we'll do a little flip through the magazine. And as you can see, I'm doing it today in a different fashion.
Yes, on your phone.
Yeah. This is slick,
What
man.
do you think?
This looks really good. In fact, okay, so I'm on a Google Pixel here, just so you know. Oh, all the magazines are there, the current one and everything. So as we flip through the magazine today, if you don't mind, I'm going to do it digitally.
Beauty.
Yeah, what do you say?
I say let's do it.
This is so cool because you can just tap right. It goes page to page in beautiful full color, and you can expand it to the full size. Look at this.
It's nice.
Roger, look at that. It looks great on my silly phone.
I like that. You have to turn your phone sideways. It's a nice user experience.
It totally
to read
is.
a print publication on your mobile.
Look at this. I'm zooming in.
Yeah.
Zoom in, zoom out, zoom. Wait a second. Shoppers Drug Mart, they give flu shots?
They do.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
So the one at Brown's Line of Lakeshore Boulevard right there?
That's right.
Come on.
Jonathan Nan, he's the pharmacist.
Okay, so there's an ad there. That I guess is our first flip through today, and I zoomed in and saw, hey, I could get my flu shot right down the street.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. All right, you want to flip through the magazine a little bit before we get into today's actual show?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Flipping, and I stop. All right, let's do this. What is My Body Health and Fitness?
Oh, that's a fitness studio down in New Toronto, just on the Lakeshore. It's owned by two sisters, Emma and Allison Tunley.
Hi, Emma and Allison. How's it going?
And they're from a small town called Flesherton.
Oh, yeah.
They moved down to the Big Smoke, and now they opened up My Body on Lakeshore. And they do more than just fitness. They have massage therapy, acupuncture. They do quite a bit.
Holistic nutrition.
Yeah, exactly. And they're super nice.
Osteopathy.
Nice little health and wellness hub there in New Toronto.
Yeah, this is really cool. Personal training, group fitness, boot camp, and yoga. Might as well shout them out as long as we're here. mybody.ca. You heard it here first. Okay, I'm going to keep flipping. You mind? I love this game.
Let's
here we
do
go.
it.
Flip, 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 flip. And by the way, I am now on, this is very interesting indeed because it looks like it's an upcoming party. Is that what this is? Let's Luau.
Oh, yes, for Women's Habitat. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fundraiser event at the Old Mill.
This looks great. Thursday,
Yeah.
March 26th from 6 to 9, an annual fundraising event hosted at the Old Mill, as you said, Roger. A night of delicious food, wine, beer, specialty drinks, entertainment, and unique silent auction items. What the heck? Let's give away a podcast, should we?
We should.
All right, well, let's do that then. Well, that's great. This sounds like a lot of fun. Tickets are available now, and it's for Women's Habitat. That's a beautiful ad, and you'll find out more about that right there in the magazine. I'm going to flip again. Here we go. Flip, 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 flip. I like flipping. I could flip this way. I could flip that way. I could zoom in. This is really great.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, we touched on this last week. We did it in a comedic fashion, but I flipped on it again. And then after we talked, I actually did a little bit more in-depth research into what's involved in becoming a member of your Superior Lodge number 501 right here in town.
Great. Okay.
So, first of all, the stats on who the membership are.
Yes.
It reminds me an awful lot of Rotary in the sense that there's a lot of business-minded people. There's a lot of professional people that are pretty big thinkers in our community. And apparently when you arrive there, the recognition of many familiar faces, so you're not entering a community that you don't already know. So some of these things, maybe you can shed a little bit of light. Last time I made it out to be the Illuminati, but it's a really...
Yeah, we were a little tongue-in-cheek, and it was meant to be somewhat humorous, just to draw a bit of attention to Freemasonry in general and Superior Lodge number 501 and Mimico in particular. But in all seriousness, to compare Freemason to the Rotary, it's not exactly apples to apples. I think the Rotary Club you classify as a service organization. Men and women can join.
Right.
And it's really to promote business contacts, whereas Freemasonry in Ontario anyway is just for men. And to join for business purposes, to further your business contacts is frowned upon.
Interesting.
To say the least. Yeah. I think one would be interested in joining Freemasonry to distill it to its lowest common denominator would be for self-improvement. To learn more about yourself and how to be a better man. And that does not include gaining a business advantage or gaining business contacts.
What are some of the ways that it helps enhance life for a man who would join?
Well, just speaking for myself in particular, it's helped me to take level steps through life. I think a lot of the times their life offers a lot of challenges and there's ups and downs. And it's helped me to calmly approach life, to be much more thoughtful in all of my endeavors, which when translated to family life, I'd like to think, and I think my wife would agree, it's helped me become a better husband, certainly a better father. And I think from a business perspective, it's helped me to look at my business and look at the problems that are in front of me with my business and the opportunities from a more measured perspective. And I think that one of the things that I get from Freemasonry is the knowledge that you can do anything as long as you put some work into it. And so if you apply that basic concept to anything in your life, I think you'll be successful.
You really enjoy it, don't you?
Masonry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you really love it.
Yeah, big time. No, I'm really passionate about it. It's an interesting topic to discuss. It's an interesting topic to write about in the magazine. And it's not one that you hear a lot about.
No,
certainly if you were to Google it, you'll get all kinds of, misinformation, fake news. The Grand Lodge of Canada in the province of Ontario has a great website. It's grandlodge.on.ca. You can find a lot of just honest information about Freemasonry.
No, that's good, because I think shrouding it in some kind of mystery, in the mystery that it is, and that's undeniable, Roger, makes it almost unapproachable to some degree in some people's minds. Well, they don't really want me there. They don't want me to know anything about it. And I think that it's the feel that I get off of you is that you really love what it does for you, that you're delighted that you sought it out.
Oh, certainly. And I've always had a passion for history. I've always thought that there's a lot more to life than we've been taught in school. And I think that if you've been educated in Ontario, like most of our listeners, we've only been taught so much.
Yeah. And
I've always wanted to do a bit of a deeper dive on just, knowledge and general knowledge. And I think that, from Freemasonry, I get to understand a bit more sort of ancient wisdom, if you want to call it that.
For sure.
Information that's been passed down from generation for hundreds and hundreds of years, if not more. I mean, Freemasonry, modern Freemasonry started in 1717, so we're just over 300 years. And it's a fascinating fraternity. It's the oldest fraternity in the world. And, a simple Google search about famous Freemasons would reveal that, many, many great men have gone through the ranks of Freemasonry, have done the same types of things that we do now.
Right.
It hasn't really changed. It's very traditional. And that's what I like about it.
How often do you guys meet?
Once a month.
Well, that's
not even in the summertime. So the physical commitment to Masonry for most lodges, I would suspect, is one meeting a month. There's usually a second that isn't always mandatory, and not to say that it's mandatory to go to all the meetings. I was always taught that family comes first, and then work, and then lodge.
Right.
And so if you can't make a meeting, so be it. But the commitment outside of going to these meetings is up to the individual Mason, and the work that he puts in. the night I joined, I was told that two things. Great advice. You get out what you put in, and there's no rush. You know, a lot of Masons are Masons for life, so take your time.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
You think I should join?
To be honest, it's not up to me to advise whether or not you should join. I can answer all of your questions, but if you are interested in tradition, if you're interested in history, if you're interested in becoming a better man for your wife, your kids, society in general, none
of that for me. That all seems like, you want me to better myself at this thing? Hold on a second. Well, it does sound fascinating.
But if you are, then you know, the best thing to do is talk to a Mason. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
And certainly, I mean, Masons don't necessarily wear it on their sleeves, so to speak.
They wear it on their fingers.
On their fingers. I have a ring, I've got decals on my car, and that's how I joined the lodge. I stopped the guy who I was parked beside who had decals, and I just accosted him and said, hey.
What's it all about?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
How long have you been a member now?
Since 2014.
Oh, so not even really that.
Not that long.
Not that long.
No.
Oh, and you're very enthused about it. Okay, there you go. Look, I feel like I dragged you down a rabbit warren. I'm sorry about that, but
no, it's okay.
It's of interest. And after last week's show, I got thinking about it more, and I was like, you know what? We really should humanize this a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And take the comedy out of it. But it does sound like you're a member of a group that you really enjoy spending time with. And if people want to find out more, where could they?
I would suggest checking out the Grand Lodge website. So it's grandlodge.on.ca. And if you have any questions, and if you live in, you know, West Toronto, south of Etobicoke, send an email to superiorlodge501@gmail.com.
All right. And as we wrap up flipping through the mag, as it were, Etobicoke Lakeshore Press, I direct you to the cover of this month's edition, and you'll find Dr. Melanie DeCuna and from One Health Services in Long Branch, and that's how you know you've got the right. Am I looking at the right one there?
Dr. DeCuna was on our January.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're on the February
cover.
one.
Well,
okay, yeah, no.
Right.
Let me do this. I'm back. I'm with you. Who's on the cover?
You would need
of this
to go
one?
to the homepage to get this month's edition. So fresh off the press this month for February is MPP Christine Hogarth.
Oh no, it's actually Christine Hogarth, man. She's an MPP. Did you know?
I did.
My bad, but there you go. That's what you're looking for on the cover of the publication, in case you find it in print. And of course, ETOBICOKE-LAKESHOREPress.com. I had a quote pulled up here a few minutes ago that really kind of summarizes what entrepreneurship is.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a great segue into our next edition for March, which is celebrating women entrepreneurs.
Well, check this out. You have to see failure as the beginning and the middle, but never entertain it as an end.
It's a good quote.
Well, it kind of does summarize how it feels to be an entrepreneur in many, many ways. By the way, Jessica Herron, founder and CEO of Stella and Dot. Just a great quote. I love a modern day quote that means something too. But it is true about entrepreneurship.
I think it's pretty accurate. So far, in my experience, there's been nothing easy about being an entrepreneur, except for the fact that every day I get to go and do something I love and make money doing it.
Right.
But there are plenty of ups and downs, many challenges. And I think that's par for the course for people. I think you certainly learn from your failures, but if you let them get the better of you, then, you know, maybe entrepreneurship isn't necessarily for you. And it's not for a lot of people. And I'm always fascinated when I'm talking to my clients and people in the neighborhood who own businesses by what inspired them to do that, what inspired them to leave what they were doing before, many of whom had great careers. They were lawyers or bankers, and now they own a mom and pop shop on Lakeshore.
Yeah.
And it's really that entrepreneurial story that I'm trying to capture every month with the publication, that kind of dream versus reality concept.
Yeah.
So you have a dream about starting your own business? Fantastic. Okay. Now what's it really like? So
well, imagine,
and that gap is the magic.
You're right. There's a huge divide between those two.
Yes.
And imagine, if you will, the perseverance required to have to move through hell on a daily basis and still keep the dream.
Yeah.
That's a certain resilience.
Yeah. You're chipping away at that block every day.
And I like the quote because it does point it out. You know, failure is the beginning and the middle. In the middle. There is no middle. You get to the end game of achieving stuff or things or career highs over the long haul.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe over several businesses.
Well, you asked me what I learned from Freemasonry, and certainly one is perseverance. And you think about the concept of chipping away at a stone, for example, with a gavel and a chisel. And I think that's just all about perseverance.
Right.
And that's more of an allegory than anything else. But I think about that in my business, and it's certainly about patience, resilience, perseverance. And I think all of that teaches you lessons about yourself. And certainly most small businesses fail. And it's just
evident, by the numbers, that's accurate.
Right? It's evident when you drive along Lakeshore or any other retail strip in Toronto or some of the smaller towns. You see a lot of vacant retail, and it's unfortunate, but that's the reality. And the ones that succeed are doing something right, and the ones that have been around for 25, 30, 60 years, like, there's really something magical about those businesses.
There is. I mean, it is such a rarity to be even in a very successful business for a period of time longer than a decade.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
You know, either you're bought out, the market changes, you have new competition. It is so difficult from startup to success. If you survive startup of a business, I commend you.
Yeah.
You know, if you get into the regular routine of doing business at a profitable and near profitable or just profitable level, I commend you.
This is true. And you make a good point about profit. I mean, that's the whole point.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, you can have your own business, but if you're not making money after a certain time, then
you're not in business.
Then you're not going to be really in business.
In fact, the province of Ontario will revoke your charter for a business after 5 years if you don't show revenues.
Oh, wow.
If you don't show profitable revenue, if you're not profitable. Yeah.
But thinking ahead and not to spill the beans here, but, you know, considering businesses who have been around for a long time, Ridley Funeral Home on Lakeshore is celebrating their 100th year in business.
You know,
later this year.
It just doesn't surprise me. Talk about a cornerstone business in the community, and just the biggest brand name of its kind that I know. Anyway,
yeah,
like it's an institution.
It is, and the guy running it is fantastic. Brad Jones is the president of Ridley Funeral Home. He's a funeral director himself, and we're going to be featuring Brad on our cover later this year in the fall, and I'm going to call it the Bucket List Edition because I am curious to know what people want to accomplish before they kick the bucket, and Brad's going to help us uncover that and peel back the layers.
What could be better than a guy at a funeral services company getting you to the end of your bucket list?
Right?
I mean, really, it just makes perfect sense.
No, it's just dripping with irony.
It totally is, yeah.
And Brad writes a column every month in the magazine, and it is by far, I think, the most popular column. It's called Life's Undertakings.
Yeah.
And there's a story behind Life's Undertakings, and I think that it would be fitting to tell that story on this podcast at some point in the very near future. But he writes about death, and I'm cool to publish it because death is just as much a part of life as life.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny. Having done a bunch of different kinds of podcasts, some of them delve into the universe and religion and belief. And I have to thank all of the people that do these podcasts with me and here in the studio, because they quickly make you realize that we're just a blip in this form, in this universe. We still have lots to do.
Yes.
With this energy that we've been gifted. So, you know, it's all perspective.
That's right. It's like the soul is immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna hang out with me when we're just souls hanging around?
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll have headphones on and microphones, obviously.
Maybe we'll be able to use telepathy.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be looking for you. Okay. It's so interesting to me that you've put together a whole magazine, a whole issue of this wonderful publication, and dedicating it to women entrepreneurs specifically. Because the one thing that I do know is, I live with a woman entrepreneur in business.
Me too.
And in fact, she's also super efficient at just, being mom. So there's something to that.
Which is the hardest job.
Right.
Yeah.
And in fact, it probably pales by comparison what she does on a day-to-day basis at work to that circus act that needs to go on at home. But there is something to that connection as well. They need to be done. They need to get home. Women need to push harder. They need to have more vibrant ideas. They need to, over the course of a long period of time now, cut through.
It's not an equal playing field.
No, it's not.
And I mean, it's been like that for a long time.
Too long.
And yeah. And I think I'm proud to be able to highlight these women in business. And like your wife, my wife is also an entrepreneur. And it's kind of an ongoing joke in our house that I get to go to work to relax.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And my work day isn't exactly easy, but man, is it a heck of a lot easier than her day at home with Luke, who's 19 months, and we got Molly, who was on the show earlier. She's a 4-month-old puppy, and she's a lab, which makes it that much more difficult. We got another dog and another kid, and
just as a sidebar,
it's a lot.
Molly is the biggest post I've ever made on social media.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's adorable.
See, I'm not on social media.
Well, let me tell you.
Tell me about
you
it.
sure are on social media with Molly, and it was like, I didn't think anybody knew that my social media existed, and suddenly people are like, "Oh my goodness, look at that adorable bearded man!
Funny.
Look at that adorable dog." So there you go.
It was kind of funny because I thought about that afterwards. It was a great picture that you shot, but I had to laugh because my hat matches her collar.
Don't tell me you don't do that. That dog is your accessory.
So she wears a camo collar and I wear a camo hat, and it just kind of happened. Yeah,
it's a good look on both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have you have an accessory dog. You're gonna need a very big bag to carry it in if that's how you're gonna.
She's heavy now.
She is. So now tell me about the upcoming edition. What will be in there? What can people expect to see?
Well, we are going to profile some of our clients. I work closely with a number of businesses in the neighborhood, and ironically, most of them are owned by women. So I like to add value to my ad partners whenever I can, and so we're going to profile some of them. We are also going to do a special feature on women entrepreneurs at Office 146.
Oh, that's a great one.
So we got a photo shoot scheduled for next week.
I can think of so many of them that are doing so amazing out of this building, so that's cool.
And we have our cover feature lined up, but I am going to keep that under my hat, my camo hat for now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we will reveal that next week. She'll be on the show.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, look, we did a podcast. We call it the Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast, and I'll encourage you to look out for the publication, the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press, right here in the neighborhood. And you can go online to etobicokelakeshorepress.com and do the digital version like I did. It is like a Harry Potter newspaper.
Enough said.
All right. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks,
Roger.
Mike. You
Thank
too.
you.